Being broke just sucks. There's no better way of saying this. And trust me when I say that I know because I have been there. If you're someone who's currently broke, living paycheck to paycheck, and you think that there is no way out, trust me when I tell you that there is a way out. And in this video, I'm gonna tell you what I did to get out of it. I've been in the same boat that you are in right now, and hopefully at the end of this video, I can help you break out of it just like I did. I was broke for a while. I was working a job, but I was still broke, but I was able to finally leave my job, do what I love doing and make money and not be broke anymore. Now, I'm not saying that I'm currently retired and I do whatever I want and I can travel in my private jet. That's not the case. Eventually I will get there, but for the time being, I did enough for me to able to live life on my own terms, set my own rules, work whatever I want to work in, and hopefully you could do the same after this video. So here are the 5 things that kept me broke, starting with not budgeting. For the longest time, I didn't budget. I made money and I spent money. If I had $500 income, I spent that $500, which is a terrible way to live, by the way. I know it seems fine, but it's terrible. So budgeting is definitely not rocket science, and I didn't make it rocket science at all. What I did was I decided that I wanted to spend this percentage of my money for my life. I wanted to invest this much of my money, and I wanted to save this much of my money. These numbers can change however you want. I did 50% spend, 30% invest, and 20% savings. You could do whatever you want. This is what worked for me. Now, looking back, what I should have done is spend 50% and potentially invest 50% as well. Budgeting is definitely one of those things that are often talked about, but definitely overlooked because it's not sexy. It doesn't sound sexy like all the other ways you can make money and become a millionaire. Well, budgeting is one of them. If you don't budget, you're gonna be poor. If you make $500,000 a year and you spend $500,000 a year, well, you're broke. You're in the same situation that I was, making a entry-level engineer salary. So this definitely wasn't sexy whatsoever, but it kept me disciplined, kept me focused, and this is what eventually helped me to quit my job because I had enough money invested and enough money saved, so I have a cushion to pursue whatever I wanted to pursue. Now, hand in hand with the first point, I stayed broke because I didn't know anything about money. How did I expect myself to have money and not be broke if I didn't know anything about money? So I did what most people do. I bought books. I started listening to audiobooks. One of them was I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Interesting book. I highly recommend it. Even though currently my ideals kind of changed away from this, but I learned a lot from it. That's one. I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and this helped me understand money, understand where money comes from, how to make money, how to spend money, how to invest money. And you'd be surprised how much I learned, or how much you can learn in comparison of how much I learned during my 4 years of university, and which taught me nothing about money. I did 4 years of engineering, learned this much about money. Even though that's a topic for another video, learning about money and financial literacy is something that is definitely overlooked. Our parents don't teach us that much because, well, for the most part, they don't know much about it. And schools definitely don't teach us about it because they don't want us knowing about that stuff. Because, well, if we learn about money, we would understand that we can make way more of it, not going the traditional path. Not saying that there's something wrong with the traditional path, but it's definitely not the path that I chosen for myself. So learning about money helped me break out of this cycle of going to work, coming back home, doing that over and over again, and spending all the money that I made from my job. So budgeting goes hand in hand with learning about money. After learning about money, I did understand that budgeting was important, which eventually I did. And this definitely to this day is applied throughout my day, even though I don't watch as many YouTube videos as I did before learning about money, because I learned enough for me to understand how to make money, how to save money, how to keep money, how to invest money. And eventually I would keep on learning, keep on making mistakes until eventually I learn more about it. Now, this point is definitely keeping a lot of people broke, and it sure did keep me broke, and that is not learning a skill. Once I graduated and got a job, I started making income. I became comfortable and complacent with that income, and I stopped learning new skills. I stopped developing my older skills. I stopped seeking information and learning day in, day out to improve myself and increase my earning capacity. So what happened was, well, I stayed broke. Until one point, I decided to say enough is enough. I need to start investing in myself to develop my personal skills, which then I started uploading YouTube videos. I started refining my skills, learning how to edit, learning thumbnails, learning YouTube strategy. Now, these skills, even though I haven't blown up on YouTube yet, where eventually I will blow up on YouTube, and all that is because I decided to invest my time and effort and energy into learning that skills. So all these hundreds of hours that I spent editing and learning about YouTube and watching YouTube videos about YouTube and about editing now are paying dividends, because now I am able to manage a team under me that is editors, thumbnail designers, all that for business owners. And doing so came unexpectedly, because me starting YouTube had nothing to do with me starting an agency. But once the skill met the opportunity, I was able to do that. And by the way, guys, if you're someone who's a business owner and you want to start a YouTube, but you don't know where to begin, click the link in the description and schedule a call with me or one of my team members so we can discuss if you're a right fit to work with us. And hopefully we can get you more traffic to your business doing so. Additionally, another skill that I focused on was my magic skills. For those of you who don't know, I'm a close-up magician as well. I do that on the side just for fun. I started improving that skill, and lo and behold, I started getting more shows. I started marketing myself, and I used all these skills combined to start making more and more money. And now I make money from both the agency as well as from my magic skills. So if I look back to the older me and look at myself working at a job and making a comfortable salary and being complacent, I would tell myself that you should keep on investing in skills and learning, because they can be priceless in the future. And right now in the future, I could tell that, oh, all these skills and time and effort put into these skills are actually worth it. Another thing that kept me broke was staying in one job for a long period of time. Now, I know some people love their jobs. I get it. It's great if you love your job, but this is really putting a cap on how much money you can be making, because once you move from one company to another, if you have the necessary skills, you can probably ask for a 30% raise. You can negotiate a higher salary every time you jump from one company to another, as long as you have the skills. So staying in one job really didn't help me whatsoever, even though it was, let's say, a good paying job at the time. Staying longer at that job definitely didn't help me at all, because the standard rate that my salary was increasing was about 5% a year, which barely catches up with inflation, if so. Now, luckily, I caught this quick and I did have an exit plan the day I started working at the company. And that is because I knew for a fact that no matter how secure I feel or how secure people advertise this 9-to-5 or any job to be, it's not. And the last 3 years proved that these are actually not safe jobs whatsoever, because for all I know, they can decide to let go of me anytime. Now, circling back to the previous point of learning skills and investing in yourself, this makes you more irreplaceable, therefore harder to let go of during your job. But that doesn't mean that I wasn't supposed to have an exit plan. An exit plan is definitely important in anything, whether that's starting a business, whether that's being an employee. I really couldn't jump into something with my eyes closed without having an exit plan, especially when it comes to big corporations or working for a big corporation. So personally, looking back, I thank myself for having an exit plan, and maybe you should think about that as well. Not saying you should quit your job. Don't. If you love it, that's great. Don't quit your job, but always think that potentially, just maybe, there's a small chance that I might get fired, and what would I do if that happens? Now, the last thing that kept me poor is always watching YouTube and trying to learn more and more information. I know, ironic, I just talked about learning skills and the importance of it, but also doing it to a certain extent. And it's also ironic that you're watching me speak on YouTube right now, but that's okay. We are all here to learn at the end of the day, so it's no issue as long as it's in moderation. Now, learning is definitely very important, but I got to a point where all I did was just learn. All I did was watch and consume content from other people, stimulating my brain and thinking that I have actually achieved something, while in fact I just wasted 3 hours watching Alex Hormozi.
They're full of shit. We understand.
It's not a waste, but it's definitely not as important as me actually trying to put in the work and implement what Hormozi was actually teaching. So what I did to combat that is I decided that the only time I'm allowed to watch YouTube is when I'm actively taking notes and I'm actually learning something. So the only time I can watch YouTube is when I have a pen and paper or a notepad pulled up on my laptop and I'm watching and simultaneously taking notes and learning at the same time. Otherwise, there is no reason for me to be watching YouTube, because then it's just entertainment. So this was my rule. Another rule was limiting screen time to a few hours a day. This definitely helped a lot. And one more pro tip: deleting Instagram and Facebook and all other apps that are unnecessary and that just waste your time is also very important. If you want to post on Instagram, I just post using my laptop. So all these points have one thing in common, and that is self-assessment and being honest with myself. All I had to do was take a big look at myself and think, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? And what are the things that I should not do? And that's what I just did. I just didn't do the things that kept me broke. And surprise, surprise, I wasn't broke anymore.